Welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to code out the solutions for your first assessment in the HTML crash course. Let's head over to the text editor to get started. Alright, here I have a basic HTML file that is totally blank, and in my browser over here on the right hand side, I have the actual solution file linked to, so I can see what I need to build out. And then in this other tab, I have a blank file, which is just this basic HTML. So let's make sure that these are linked together. I'm going to type out HTML, hit enter, and we'll go ahead and in the body, start with that heading. So we'll say heading 1, and if we take a look at the solution file, it says welcome to my website. So let's add that into the heading file. Welcome to my, and we'll say test site. Save it, come over here, refresh, and it looks like they're linked, and I have that heading 1. So now I can just say something like welcome to my website and have them match up. Okay, so that was the first step. Notice here we have a heading, and we also have a heading here. Keep in mind, I have different levels of zoom here, so if the font doesn't actually match exactly size-wise, that's not a big issue. Okay, the next thing we should have noticed is the exercise title over here on the tab is actually a different title than just the basic HTML title. So what I'm going to do is say exercise title inside of my title. So I'll save that, and then I should see, when I refresh, that tab change up here. Up next, it looks like I have 3 paragraphs, and one of them, notice, is an anchor tag. So let's add those in. We'll start with the first paragraph tag, and this one just says, I'm excited to eventually learn Flask, so let's just say the same thing. I'm excited to learn Flask. And then we have an anchor tag, so the way that works is we say A for anchor, and then we need to give it a reference. So this is linked to the official Flask website, and if you clicked on the link inside of the solution file, or if you just Google search Flask documentation or Flask website, you'll notice that it has kind of a funny URL. It's Flask, POCOO.org. And then what we're going to do here is actually type in the text we want to show up. So we'll say here is a link to Flask website. Save that. And then let's refresh my page. And now it says, I'm excited to learn Flask. Here's a link to the Flask website. Let's open that link in a new tab and make sure it works. And there we go. It looks like it's working just fine. Let's add in that last paragraph tag that says, here is a picture of a puppy. And then we actually provided the picture for you. All you need to do was say an image tag, and then say the source was that puppy pic. So we'll say puppy_pic.jpg. And remember, this puppypic.jpg has to be in the same location as your HTML file. Otherwise, you would need to pass in the entire file path for this image file. And now let's come back to our exercise title tab, refresh this page, and now I see here's a picture of a puppy and this nice puppy pic. All right. The next thing we wanted to do is if we scroll down, we have another tag. Here are 3 reasons why Flask is cool, and then we have an ordered list. So we'll add a little paragraph tag for the actual header there that's saying here are 3 reasons. So here are 3 reasons for Flask. And it's not a big deal if your text didn't match exactly. We're really testing your understanding of HTML elements. So this is an ordered list because it's numbered 1, 2, 3. So I will say OL and then provide my list items. So we'll say very simple. The next one will be lots of add-ons. And the last one, create a site in a few minutes. Save that. Let's come back over here to our exercise title. If I refresh, it says here are 3 reasons for Flask. Very simple, lots of add-ons, and create a site in a few minutes. So all you had to do is use the OL tag and then the list item tags. Okay. That was it for the basics of the exercise. The last thing was this optional extra credit, which was, can you figure out how to make a picture into a link? So the way you do that is you really just combine 2 tags. You combine your anchor tag with your image tag. So notice typically for the anchor tag, we have text in here, which is what displays as the linking device. But what we could do is just put an image tag there instead, and that will link to the site instead. So I'm going to show you an example of this. We'll create an anchor tag, and we'll keep it simple. We're just going to link back to that Flask site. We'll say http://flask.poku.org, and it can really be any site. And then instead of saying here is the link, for instance, if I were to save that and refresh, then I say here's the link. So instead of that, I'm going to add in an image tag. And in fact, I'm just going to copy and paste the image here for the puppy that we had earlier. So let's copy and paste that and put that inside of this anchor tag, save it, and if I refresh, now I see this image, but notice the difference in my mouse as I hover over the first image. This first image is just that JPEG file. This image is actually going to link me, when I click link in the tab, it's going to link me to that Flask website. So again, when I click this image, it takes me to the Flask website. When I click on this image, nothing happens. And you can see my cursor change from just a normal mouse to the actual hand for the link. And that's how you can link an image to another website or another page on your website. Okay, so main ideas here is that we understand headings, paragraph, anchor tags, and image tags, as well as how to do either an ordered list or an unordered list. And then we have the ability to also make images into their own linking devices. If you have any questions, feel free to post to the Q&A forums.